in the last video, we did a really good progress and made that API to have our, all listings being displayed here. So remember here we had API/user/listings, and then we had the ID passed in, and we could see how many listings that the person created. And for over here, we just have one listing. So this video will be the extension to this, where we're going to actually now use this API in our front end. We're connecting it, and I'm going to close all these tabs. I'm going to collapse this, and let's go from the ground up. So what we're going to do is, the first thing is that we're going to go to the client side, and we could see that it's in the source, and then there's the pages, and there's this Profile.jsx page that we have to target, right? This page is the major page where you could see that the things are running. So what you can see is that we want, right over here after the delete and sign up, we want a button to say show all listings or something. So right here, right after the delete, you can see that there's this div that handles the delete user, right, and handles the sign out. You could just add something over here. Let me just format document real sec so that it looks better. And now we could just say right after this div, we could just put in first of all, we could have the profile updated successfully. So that paragraph is essentially there. Now I believe I've done one thing which I could have done better. This profile update successfully normally could be somewhere else. All right, so what I'm saying is that this update and error could be crossed here and right after this div. So right here, they could be over here. Okay, so let me just have, what is this, man? Why is it? Okay, Control V and this one. So we're gonna have this paragraph and the success message here, so that you could just see it over here. Like suppose if I just change this update and I say update, it's changing it here. I think it's better than having it, over there. I think this is much better. But right after this design right here, what we want here is we want to, first of all, we want to create that button that I'm talking about to show all listings. And to manage that, it's pretty easy. We could just say a button tag. So an easy button tag, and we could have the button tag to have, the text show listings. Okay, now the thing is that we want to have an on-click listener to this button as well. This on-click will be handle show listings. Okay, it will handle this, but the thing is, it will have a class name defined for this button as well. We'll have a text of green because we want it to look good. Let's say 700. And if I show you the design right now, you'll see that there's nothing because of that function that's not defined. So let me just put this right here and put this over here. And handle show listings, you could just define on the top right here. So right here, just have const handle show listings. There you go. And that should go away. Now you could see that there's this show listings button, right? But the thing is that we want to make it better with styling. So we could go and add in this. We could have the width of full. This would make it in the center. And you could also add, cool things with it. So right now at the moment, it looks okay. It looks okay for now. We could just have this. And if we click on this handle show listings, it would take us to the show listings, right? So let's go to the handle show listings now, and let's try to, write out the logic for this function, because this is going to be calling that API that we created, right? So what we're going to do here is we're going to have try and catch normal. And over here, we actually need to set show listings error. And I'm going to talk about this error handle state that I'm actually creating to see if I have an error or not. So it's really good to have one. And we're going to put that, the state, which is called show error. So I'm going to go all the way to the top. Let's scroll all the way to the top. And over here, we're going to have right here where we're, creating all these states. We could have one more over here, update. So we'll have const, and we'll have show listing show listings error. All right, show listings error, set show listings error, and it's by default set to false. Fantastic. And essentially we also want one state to have our listings stored in, right? Because a user could have multiple listings. Like suppose I have suppose Coding Cleverly's account has like 10 different mansions, and all have their special attributes, right? They're all stored in some object. So we want to store that all inside something. So we'll say const, and we'll say user listings, like this, and we'll say set user listings, and by default we'll have it as an empty list. It should be an empty. Cool, awesome. So these are our two states for now. Let's just go back to our function that we were creating, handle show listings, and it's super easy now. All we got to do is just add the necessary things that we need. So once we do this, one other thing that I want to address is that handle error has one property here that allows you to see if that button is actually false or not. So where you see show listings, if someone clicks on it and suppose the listings are not there, you could get an error message saying that the person doesn't have any. So you could say basically paragraph class name. I'll just add it right here, and we'll have a text -red -700, and we'll have a margin up top of 5, and we'll say okay. So that's the only thing I wanted. So if I click on show listings right now, I mean, it's not triggering anything because the function isn't defined. But right now, show listings error. If it's true, then basically it's gonna show listings error, right? And it should show the message. That's exactly what it's saying. But you could just change this show listings error to have a like a message saying error showing listing. Okay, like that. Okay, so this is error showing. Let's have listings. At the moment it's not going to work because we have to add in some other extra things. So let's go back to our handle show listings. So it's over here, and we're gonna have the handle show listings completed. So let's start out with this. So first of all, we're gonna try it. We're gonna say set show listing error. So whatever the errors are, just make them cleared. All right, false. Then after that, you have to take a response, and let's make this a little wider now. Okay, so we're gonna have a response, and what we're gonna say to this is that we're gonna use the await fetch, and we're gonna call that API that we created, which is /API/user. It's not listing, but it's actually called user, and then it's called listings, and then inside we have $current user _ID. I believe you know where my current user is coming from. It's coming from this uselector, which is perfection, using React Redux, and we can now basically have this, this fetch basically brings this response, and you want the response to be converted to JSON. So best way to do it is through JSON and .json, and have the await here, and as well put in a variable called const data, and that's really good. Right after that, we could have the data success. If the data is not a success, right? If the data is not a success, this stuff is completely repetitive from a lot of my other videos. So you can see things are right now like having a pattern or something. Set show listings error. Now you can see that if a problem occurs, you could say the error has been true and return. Just that. We don't need to move further. And if we would clear it all the way there, set user listings to that data. Now remember that users listings state that I created. I said over here this will contain all the properties or the mansions that you have, right? The houses. So this is the listing object list. Basically, it's going to contain multiple objects, and And that basically that's it. I don't know for a second if we created any within this account, but let's see. Set show listings error and true. Okay, this all looks good, and you know, things look really nice here. What we want to do now is we're gonna have to add some listings to this account, and then we're gonna have to try to display them. So I'm gonna first of all see if we have console log.form. Yeah, we have console.log form. And am I able to change this? I guess we are able to. I mean, show listing. We can't see any of them error showing listings right now. The reason could be that this person doesn't have any listings created. All right. So that's good that we have that triggered. So what we could do here now is, you know, create a list according to this account, or we'll just log into an account that already exists, right? So let's just go and sign out from here, and we could use an account that already exists. So according to my Thunder client, we had one account, and not that. We had one account. 1 minute. It's got to be somewhere over here. So we have this account that's already existing. So let's suppose, okay, email. Okay, we don't have, 1 minute. Okay, update. Sign in. I want that sign in API. Okay, this is the sign in. I believe this is an account. Let's go here. And I'll say hires to iftikhar@gmail.com, and this password is 123. Let's see if this is an actual account. It is an actual account, and it's basically as a Coding Cleverly account. So let's go to the profile page, and we'll show listings. We have nothing here. Let's see over here. So console. Basically calling that. Essentially, I don't know why we have an error. It could be maybe multiple reasons, but let's see. First of all, since we're authenticated, we have a cookie here. So you can see over here. We're essentially authenticated. And all we got to do now is to see if we have listings or not. The reason could be multiple for this, you know. So over here we have cookie, and we have this access token. Okay, and then we have this. So the thing is that it could be multiple reasons for error showing listings. So if we go to the Profile.jsx, remember that I said if there's anything like over here we have paragraph class name and says show listings error. If it's true somehow, we'll have error showing listings. So I guess it was triggered because it was true, but error showing show listings error. At the moment it was true when it was over here. And okay. So it's possibly could be some reasons for this. Okay, so that means now we're gonna have to create some listings for this person. Okay, so let's go here, and let's go and create listing. I think we could create a listing like this. Why one thing that really concerns me is that this is I believe the username, and yes, this is the email, and the password is 123. So let's create a listing, and we'll say real estate new. Okay, let's copy this, paste. Let's make it sell, furnished, 3 beds. This is the price. Okay, 2 baths. Add some images. We'll just add some custom images here. 3 images. Okay, so 3 images. I'm going to upload. It's going to disable this button, and in a moment it should be loaded inside. So okay, it says file upload image max. Okay, so there could be an issue regarding these images. There could be a big size, and I could understand the reason behind that. So let me go here, and let me see what, because I put a constraint on that as well. Let me just quickly go to that path. Okay, so you could see over here that we have 1 MB, 1.3, 1.8. This is 2.44 MB. So let's just cut this one out. Okay, 2 again. These are all above 2 MBs. These houses, all of them. So we'll delete this. How much is this? Okay, these are all. So delete this one. Delete this one. delete this one. I could see from on the bottom, and you might be asking like where you're seeing the MB. Over there, it specifies it. But other than that, all these are lower. I put a constraint in the beginning, but we could have changed it, but it doesn't really matter. Let's add just these 3 houses. Open and upload. Let's see, now it's not going to give us the error, and it should upload it one by one here. I have this semicolon here. I'm going to have to remove this. Let's see what happens. Okay, great. We have it loaded. Okay, the listings are there. This is the first image is going to be your main image, and then when you create the listing, it should redirect to that listing, and it's just going to create a separate page for that. Of course, the inspect says that, you know, that route doesn't exist, right? It's not going to, no routes match, right? But the thing is that all other things have been updated, and this is you know, created. It's basically loaded. You could actually go to the network tab and you know, see that everything has been working. And now if I go to the about, or let's just go there and show listing, I still have show error showing listings. Let's create one more listing. One more. Okay. One more. Let's put parking spot sell offer. Let's put a discount here as well. Let's put this house, and let's put, you know, this thing. And then upload. And once these pictures are uploaded, you could now create listing. Okay, it says at least 10 characters. We put that constraint as well. One more, 1, 2, 3. Let's go back to the home. Show listings. It still you know, gives us the error, but let's see how you know, it tells us in the Thunder client. So the user, you already know, I've logged in. I think it's logged in. So let's log in again. So we're logged in. We have our cookie inside. We could go to this other API, which is used to update the user, but we're not going to update it. We're actually going to see the listings of the user. So API listing create. This is you know, creation of a listing. API listing create again, and then API user listings, and then I guess yes, API user, and then we have listings. We're not creating anything, but we're actually getting. But now the thing is, we just need the ID of this account. This ID is essentially from the response. You can see this is the ID of my, you know, account. So I could just use this and pass it here in the URLs. Make sure it's correct. So let's just paste it, and you know, it should be a get. Okay, now we have new listing. Okay, then we have real estate new, and then we have one more, 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 different listings. I mean, it's working. It has an object. I mean, a list of 1, 2, 3 different objects inside. So I mean, it's working. It's 3 different listings, and they're all, you know, configured. But the reason is we might have some concerns, and we're gonna have to look into that. But you know, so far everything looks good. So what we're gonna do here is we want to display them. And I was in the handle handle over here. So this is the current ID, and you know, show listings. If not, you know, display the error. So essentially this is pretty much it. Fetch response, say success, true, return user listings, set user listings and data, and we have catch error, and set show listings error. Okay, so the next step after this is we have to move on to the part where we could actually display these. So you already know that user listings, set user listings is the data that we get. Yeah, so you know, you could actually see this data as well. Console.log data. This is handle show listings. Perhaps this is the button that I click on. Inspect console. Okay. Okay, the reason, I'm not understanding what's the reason here, but there is an issue with the way it's not being displayed. So what we could do now is, I mean, there's no problem at all. We could just go here and say, okay, show listings error. If it's true, error showing listings, and then yeah, let's just remove that console.log, which was over here, random. Set user listings to that data. Okay, set user listings, got it. Set user listings over here. You can see that the form data is being displayed, but let's just have the console.log user listings. I just want to see what happens here. So what is it called? User listings. So I have user listings, set user listings. Let's see what happens now. It's a list, empty list, and inspect and console. Now we have a zero length, zero length, show listings. Okay, it's still zero length. So essentially there's things that are missing at the moment, and I'm gonna fix it all. It's still zero length. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on to the next part, which is we're gonna fix this. So don't worry at all. We're gonna see all that. Just comment this out and put this back in. Let's go back here, and in here we have the show listings, and we have to first, verify whether it's showing the listings or not. So we normally go to the user listings, which is which is actually right after the error showing listings. So right here we have span, we have this button, which is show listings, and then we have this paragraph which has a class name and then says show listings. So show listings error, and then it says console show listings error showing listings, and then we have just sample text. At the end, we could over here we could say if the user listings work. Okay. Okay. If that user listings are existing, so we could have ampersand. If there are some user listings existing, you could have user listings dot length, and make sure that length is greater than 0. And if the length is greater than 0, you could have the following things displayed. You could have a div, and inside that div, okay, you could have a div displayed, and inside that div we have an h1 tag, and that it's basically going to be called your listings, like this. So we have class name, and we have flex call, gap for. Now this is all going to be top down. And the head one, we have class name, we have text hyphen center, margin top of 7. We have the text size of 2XL. We have the font as semi bold. Of course, you're not seeing the changes, and you could actually see them once they actually appear. So at the moment, you could see that if the user listings are there, it's allowing us to view that. So let's just go and keep going. Right after this div, we have call gap. Okay, so your listings, and after this, you have user listings. So user listings dot map. You could actually map through the listings because they're in a list. You could have for each listing, inside of that listings big array, right? You could have this arrow function and say the div section, and you could put in things like okay, you could put in things like I don't know why, there's just some problems came in, but anyways, we have user listings and dot map. We have listing, and then in here we have div, and we have a key. Yeah, this is important. Key has to be unique. So you could use the listing dot underscore ID, since that is very unique. through the entire thing. This is provided by MongoDB. And in here, you could have, you know, a link tag. Normally, it would go to listing of that, you know, specific listing, and we could have this closed image, and we have image equal to image, and we have source of the image we could have as the listing dot image URLs, with the first image that, you know, you upload, that could be the cover one. Other than that, you have alt tag, alt listing, and then we have you have some cool styling, and just close this out. So essentially this you could say as listing cover. And yes, we don't have it closed properly, so we're going to take care of that right away. One other thing that I have to consider here is that there's this thing which is right afterwards, and this is going to be called the listing name, and you know, you could also click it to go to that listing page. So it's just going to be the title of the listing. You know, what was it referred as name. So that's why. Now all of that is good, but we also need like a delete or, you know, an edit button. So we could have it right after this link. So this is essentially that we have button, and we have this link, and we have this edit. We also have this div, which is for the and in here we could also have this closing div, which is this. I guess this one's missing. See? Yeah, it's missing for this ID. It's essentially this whole thing is a loop thing. And after that, we have this missing over here as well. We have some round bracket that's missing, and that's why it wasn't appearing. And then we have this closing div, which is right here. This is for this complete H1. And then we have this ginormous one, and that's for this. And then, you know, everything else looks good. So basically this is the mapping that's happening so that we could see each listing. For some reason, I'm still not able to have my listings displayed. It's constantly giving me an issue saying that, you know, I don't have listings. This account doesn't have listings. And I believe, I don't know what could be the issue, but I'm checking it out. So listing, we have listing, user map. Essentially, this is user listings. This is the thing. You go here, we have user listings on the top defined right here. And we set it as a list. Okay. And in that handle show listings, we basically put set user listings to that data, right? That data that we got. Oh, this is the reason. We wrote ref instead of res. Wow. And now we see all of it. Sometimes debugging is very important, and, you know, looking over your code, because small mistakes can be ignored, and, you know, they could be causing the issue. But at the moment, now you can see that I had 3 listings, and I'm keep saying like I have it. I double check the code, and this changed from S. You know, we just had to put res because it was a response coming from this API call. Make sure to check this. This is very important, that when you fetch, you get a response, you convert that response to a JSON, and you put that data. And I was putting that in set user listings. And now you can see that these are my listings, right? These are my listings. They're okay. I mean, they have some class names that need to be defined. I mean, it's too big. So let's just fix out these images. And to fix this image, it's super easy. You could essentially go to the part where, you know, the images are being rendered like this. So there's this image, okay, image source, and then there's got to be a class name here. So so what we have is we could just have the image here specified, class name, and what I could just say is class name to this is really easy. What you could say first is set the height to 16. Okay. Okay, something went wrong. Maybe I went inside of it. Yeah, I should. What am I doing, man? Okay, there. Okay, image. Yeah. Oh, no way. Yeah, I added this one. Height 2048. It was a default. Let's just fix it up. 16. Now width is 16. Okay. Height 16, width 16. Looks better. Now, it's cutting out, so object contain is the way to maintain aspect ratio. So if I do object contain, yeah, it maintains the aspect ratio. It doesn't cut anything. And the same thing goes for the next part, which is, actually this is, having the issue. I don't have the width full. I only have height 16, width 16, object contain, and that's pretty much it. Okay. And you could do the same thing for the other class, which is this one, which is truncate, which is okay. I mean, all of that looks good, but essentially there's going to be a class name on top of us, which is right here. Okay, so we have user listings, we have div. So this div has a key, which is listing ID, right? Should have a class name as well, like that. And this is just going to fix everything. We have class name border, and we have rounded LG. This is basically containing each div, how it's going to look like. Border, we have rounded LG, so it looks like this. Now you can see when you hover over the listing, it looks good. We have padding of 3, the flex, justify between, so they're separated, item center, and gap 4. And now, it looks really nice. So this is our listing. And I assume that, everything looks workable. We can move on to the next part. We can move on to the next part now, since, this looks all good. Let's just add one more listing to see, nice things. So let's say 20, new 2024 listing, new. I don't know. So let's just have this and this, and it's an offer. It's regular price is 1,000, discount is 10, unrealistic. And we'll just have this one image, second image, third image, and I'll upload. So you can see now I can't click on this button, it's disabled. But once it's uploaded, you could see that the images will appear over here. But the major concern here that we had to bring was responsiveness, and we achieved that goal. So we could see over here, once we create it, it goes to that specific page. If you go back to your listings, you'll see now that listing will appear on the bottom. So you can see that new 2024 listing has been updated here. Later on, we're going to have this edit button so that it could go to the edit specific list, and we're able to edit it. And the other thing is, if we click on the delete, we're able to delete it from here. So this right now, it currently goes to update listing. Yeah, it just goes to a sample page, but we're going to fix that out. So, and everything is going to work. Right now, let's create the delete listing API. So we're going to have, when we click on this, it's going to go and delete it. So to add delete user listing functionality, first we have to create a new listing through the UI, like this one, new 2024 listing new. And now I'm going to go to the backend part. So let's go here. Let's close this for now, close all, and let's make this a little smaller. Okay, so now let's go to the API. We'll go to the routes, and we'll go to the listing.route.js. So in the listing.route.js, there's actually a new route we're going to have to create, and the route is going to be called router.delete, and we're going to have the /delete, and we're going to have /id, like that. Essentially, we need the ID so that we could delete, and we have to verify first the identity of the person, and then we'll have the delete listing controller. So we'll have to go to the controllers, not model, but controllers, and we have listing.controller. Here we're going to have a new controller, which is going to be called const actually not const, but export const. So export const delete listing, and then right now it's defined like that. You could actually import it here. So from create listing, we have listing.controller.js. We have the next one, which is delete listing, and that's also there. So that's perfect. Let's go to the listing.controller.js and just add the delete listing controller. So first of all, we have a listing, so we could say listing. We have to delete it. So first we could get the listing. So we could say listing.find by ID, and we essentially, since this listing is being passed through an ID, right? You could first try to find it within the database if it actually exists or not. All right. If it doesn't even exist, you could just say, well, the listing doesn't even exist, right? So we could say, listing, if not there, we could just return a custom error. We're using the next error handler that I had. So new error, and I would say listing does not exist. All right. And either using this new one or the error handler you have. So it's basically the error handler. Okay, error handler. Yeah. And in here, we'll have listing not found 404. Actually, the first one was, yeah. So 404. And we have listing not found. Okay. Now that, if, suppose it didn't exist, that's all good. The next is we have to verify whether it's the actual user or not. So to get the request.user.id, this is actually coming from JWT. What the thing is that this verified token is being activated. If you go to the verify.user, I remember I used to get the request.user ID. I'm getting the user's ID from this because it's verifying me. And if you don't match, if your ID that the JWT gave doesn't match with the listing.user ref, because every listing is going to have a user ref attribute that signifies that this listing has been created by this specific user's ID, right? And if they don't match, you're saying you're not even allowed to delete it. So you're going to say error handler, and you're going to say 40, you're going to say 403 forbidden. For me, I could just say you can only delete your own listings, right? Now after all these checks, we could now finally have our try and catch, right? Our nice try and catch to use our actual, the thing is it's just blocking the thing. Yeah. Okay. So we have our nice try and catch, and here we have the await, and we have listing. I believe the listing model has been imported somehow. Yep, it's imported. So over here we have listing.find. We have to find and delete. So find by ID and delete, and we have request.params.id. That same params, and we're just going to have a status defining that it's successful. So 200, and our JSON, and we'll say, listing has been deleted. Okay. So now that the listing has been deleted, you could go to the catch place. And over here we have next, and then we have error. Okay. And now, your listing API has been figured out completely. It's working. So this is good. This is all we need. And you could actually now try to test this out with Thunder Client and see how to delete it. But the thing is, I'm just gonna try to connect it with the front end and do it. Normally I would recommend testing it out using Thunder Client, but let's just start seeing it if it actually works in the Profile.jsx. So let's go into the client not public source pages, Profile.jsx. And over here we have the delete. Remember this delete, the button which is delete. So over here we're gonna have this button, and it has handle listing delete, right? Now handle listing delete should be actually created. So it's going to pass in the listing ID, which normally you're getting from everywhere, and you want to delete it. So let's go and create this handle listing delete. Okay, so this is really strange. It was not even created, and I didn't get an error. So, okay, anyways, let's just create this function here. So const listing handle listing delete, and it takes in the listing ID, you know. So over here, it's pretty simple, pretty easy stuff. You know, you want the, handle part, and you want to just delete the listing. So we could just have a try and catch, easy peasy stuff. So try and catch. And what we'll say is request response. We'll try to await and fetch the API, which is backtick and slash API slash listing slash delete, and then we have dollar listing ID. And over here, the thing is that this is not their recommended. So right here we have, the method is delete. Okay, so yeah, perhaps there's something missing, but right now we have this slash API slash listing slash delete, and then we have the listing ID, and then we have the method, which is delete. And essentially we we messed up here. I'm not sure. So what we're gonna do is we have this delete, and normally we need like this. Okay, now the thing is, this squiggly bracket has to close from here, and then this round bracket, and you're just gonna get a const data. So you just make sure you have the await response.json. Okay, now we're gonna have to check if the data is legit. So we say if the data is not a legit, so we're saying if it's success false, we can now just say we'll just say the thing that we normally say, return. You could have a error handler for this, but I would just not do it because it's not required. But you could do it in terms for your practice if you want. It's not really that big of a deal, but you could do it. It's good. And then you could have this console.log error.message and return. Now that we have that out of the way, we have the next part, which is the user. Set user listings. Set user listings. Now this is very important. The thing is, I actually removed the data. It's been updated successfully, right? If it reaches till here, this means that the delete functionality has worked, and that the specific listing has been deleted. But you want to reflect it on your front end as well. So use a filter. So what we're going to do is we're going to say set user listings state. We have the previous state, remember? And what we're going to do is we're going to say the previous prev.filter, and we're going to have the listing that we have, right? So the listing._ID. So the listing._ID, if that so prev.filter, so we have prev, and then we're prev.filter, and then we have, oh yeah, so let's have this prev.filter, and we have listing, and we'll say it like this. So the thing is, it's saying like this. So we have set user listings, we have prev, and we have prev.filter, we have listing. We're gonna get the listing from each of the array, okay? And we're gonna say if the listing somehow if it matches, we don't want that, okay? We want to neglect that, but all the other ones should be returned. We want listing._ID not equal to the listing ID that has been passed here. So the deleting one was not going to be displayed, but the rest one will be displayed. That's how we're filtering it out, and this should work. So I just had to put this round bracket at the end. Now things look good. The filter one looks good as well. Okay, in the catch part, it's pretty simple. Just have a console.log. Normally you could add one, but right now we just leave it like that. Okay, so now I think we are good to go. we could now, have this handle listing delete tested. So, okay, so we go here into our listing, and let's just have a inspect. Okay, so let's try to delete this one. I'm gonna go to my network tab as well, just to see what's happening. Okay, so let's click on delete. Okay, you could see that the thing deleted, and you could see over here listing has been deleted. Perfect. Refresh the page and show listings, and yep, it has 100% deleted from the database. This is perfect. And everything looks good, super awesome. And the deleting functionality has been working. Now, after creating the deleting functionality, I'm normally interested in doing one extra thing, which is updating the listing, because we want the button over here to work as well. So when we click on edit, we want the edit API to make the listings up here. So let's go and fix this out. So let's go into the application here, and we want to create a router to have the edit functionality. So basically we have to create update listing API route from the back to the backend. So what I could do now is first I have to go to listing.route.js, and inside here we're gonna have an update. So right here we have router dot post. We could have slash update, and then we have slash colon ID, and then we have verify token, and then we have update listing. Okay, so then we have update listing. Now we have to just create this update listing here. The const, oh, this is super easy. So first export const update listing. Okay, let's just finish this up, and I believe it's imported or not. Let's see. Update user failure. Why is this there? Do you understand? I don't know, man. It doesn't look like this should be there. Update listing. Yeah, so delete listing and just put update listing here. Okay, so over here we have update listing. Okay, so let's create that listing here. It's going to be very, very easy. So we have is, first of all, we have first of all, const update listing. So the thing is, let's just make this a little bigger. Okay, and let me just put this on the side. Okay, we have to create the update listing controller. So let's first of all, what is this, man? It just filled all of it. We'll have const, and we'll have listing, and we'll try to get the await, and we'll have listing.find by ID. Okay, we'll try to find the request.params. Come on, man. Request.params.id. So the the params that has been listing, you actually find from the database, and you say if the request params match, you could find that and retrieve it. If that listing does not exist, you could just say listing not found. Normally the same stuff we're going through, and if it's not accessible, you could just say you're not update. You cannot only update your own listings. Try and catch. Again, I've just pre-filled it. So update listing, we have await listing, find by update, find by ID and update. We have request.params.id and request.body, and we have to put new true. This is very important. Whatever the params bodies are, you want those updated. But the thing is, new colon true is only if you add this is the only reason that it's being updated and the changes are being reflected. So you don't put it, the new changes won't be reflected. And the response.status 200 means that you just threw a good response out. And this is the update listing. So this is perfect. This is gonna allow us to edit the listing. And we're going to have to now connect this to the front end later on. So stay tuned to see that in live action.